Sangye Tenedang ngazo di takwa tamje separe towa tamje lungware duwa yuna duwa tamje delware kewa tamje chiware tene tsikzam sheba digi mendo tene di gongzo ngazo semla pendo gzo mendo di darin ngazo gomjagin di tashi 다 레레라 karma 가지 듄네 두고지 라
레라 가지 소나 가면 듄
내가
네 다다
듄네 두고지 곰 잡아지지 되는 추드디 제소야 되네 딱와 탐제 대바르주르세 디 donda ming di she sik di she na nga do donda de shingi yo ma donda ma she bala tene seba sakwa dong takwa tamje seba imba ma she bala tene ju sakya khona la tene kanzo mise jelne tene jogo yo bare 대인들 되네 강조 다 사과 탐지 세배기 줄에 삼내 대 돈달라 삼로다네 검적이도 대나 대 돈달데 sem라게 tum나 되네 사과도 되네 강조 축구디솔라 다 강조 배 강을 치모여로 마 레레 사우디 되네 디기 강조 사과 탐지 세배기 주인바 마시 되네 마셔봐라 되네 라라 랑기 랑 속제봐라 소바양 라양 되네 기 강에냐 중기여 바리 되네 디 돈다디 있어나 마 사우도나양 되네 디 따바 사과 탐지 세비기 주레 삼네 데라 강소 센터 첨보 매버 다 때때서 용식은 네 첨보 매버 도버지도 되네 가지 속 세노 싹 마투긴 주노 싹 마투긴 되서는 다 주노 가제 싹네야 세비기 주 타마 세비주레 삼네 되네 싹얘기 동일 마고와 저거 다디 donda de sola samlo tangne dene ngato komjagi.
Good evening, Tashdele. So today we are going to review this 4 line again, going back, because just to know the words doesn't help anything to anyone. We have to get convinced by practicing them. So in order to practice them, we have to meditate them. So today, this 4 line, which says that all permanent will be exhausted, which is permanent here means the accumulation. Whatever we accumulated, the material wealth will be in the nature of being exhausted. And then second line says all that are high will eventually fall down, which means whatever you become high, whether with your title or whatever, but it's in the nature of falling down one day. And then the next line, which says, if there is meeting, it is not free from the separation. And then the last line, which says, if there is birth, it will be die. It will die. So this is the direct translation of the Tibetan word, but what usually we call this in Abhidharma is sometimes we call it Taishi, not sometimes, always with Taishi in Tibetan, but sometimes it's translated something like 4 streams or extremes, or sometimes also translated as a 4 ends. Ends is E-N-D, not A-N-D, okay? My pronunciation is not very good. So I just want to spell that out. So whatever it is, the first line which says, all permanent will be exhausted. Usually we have the word, all the accumulation will be exhausted. So if you know the end of the accumulation, then those people who are very rich, when they suddenly become poor, sometimes they even commit suicide because of being too overwhelmed by the sadness and so forth. So if you know the nature of the accumulation, then it will not affect you too much when you face this kind of situation. This is for those who are very rich at the moment, and then who are in the danger of being poor. So if you know the nature of your wealth, which you have accumulated for many, thinking that you are going to live permanently, that's what permanent here means, and then it is nature of in the exhausted, then if because of some bad causes and conditions you become certainly poor, it doesn't affect you too much because you know the nature of it and you are used to it. And then for those who are poor, again, if you can meditate well, it will help you a lot of being worried of not being rich. Because he said, even you have so much things, it is in the nature of being exhausted. Therefore, even you are not rich, if you have what you need, that's good enough for you. Therefore, it is very important for all of us to get this kind of certainty, then this is being useful. So today we are going to meditate maybe 7 or 8 minutes each of these 4 lines. So before we start the meditation, we do some prayer, which is called the 4 Dharmas of Khenpo. If you know by heart, please join us. After reciting these 4 lines, then we will do the meditation. Lam Truba Savara Singya Labdoso, Truba Yesu Chavara Singya Labdoso, Dadan Simjen Tamje Lo Shoson Robara Singya Labdoso, Chulam Robara Singya Labdoso, Lam Truba Savara Singya Labdoso, Truba Yesu Chavara Singya Labdoso, Dadan Simjen Tamje Lo Shoson Robara Singya Labdoso, Chulam Robara Singya Labdoso, Lam Truba Savara Singya Labdoso, Truba Yesu Chavara Singya Labdoso. And Lama, can you bring the gong? In Tara, I think we have in Tara. Thank you. Đúng là áo đó là có tăng sinh đúng là có chủ tha cho thôi. Ngani Indonesia, Indonesia. Misal main tong ngani. We are watching ourselves. Thank you. Oh, last. Okay, we will start meditation right now.
kabla kabre sakba dang seba la dene nyeshe tembore le sona 대양 sakwa seba nibo 대양 nigo dene ngo tongba rangxin ge ma zhuba ma di ngangdo dene nyamba jotum na yaksa.
And when you are doing meditation practice on this, the first line, if you get if you get certainty of the the nature of accumulation is being exhausted, then you go little deeper and try to meditate both of these, the accumulation and the exhaustion, right? The finish are actually equal in the ultimate. Both of them are just emptiness. And then try to meditate on this empty nature of accumulation and exhaustion.
아니바 토위 토와 대양 탈룽오세다 토위기 타마디 탈을 되는 홍위기랑신 홍위기 줄레 마데바 레스 송바레 되네 디인데 되네 알아서 단다 다디 토에 달 홍와 임바디 다 직zam지 시기 요리데 이나야 돈다데 가서 생기요 말에 돈다 마셔발라 때네 토에기 다 당바야 토모 토마투 야라 또 투비알라 깔레자 되네 가브레 타블레 등왕게 되네 뭐지 톰나야 되네 마을 홍야기 저야기 되네 강일 샘제 동에 첨보지 용기요 바래 되네 디 토에 달 홍외계랑신 임바 다 된다디 시나 다 토와디 톰나양 지기도 못톰나야 지기도 코 타와디 달 홍와래 삼네 샘제디 첨보 나와 샘제 충충 자기요다 토와디 말을 홍와이나양 토에 담을 홍와디 고나 지딩기 최니레 랑신기레 세네 데라 샘제당 강을 첨보 마고와 되네 강소 샘제당 강에 충충 소투비요사네.
The second line in the sutra, it says, whatever is high will eventually fall down. We know this by word, we know the word, but we don't really understand the meaning. That's why in samsara all beings are trying to be as high as possible, and once they are at a high level, then they have the suffering of being falling down. Because from the very beginning, if you know the nature of being high eventually fall down, then you won't put too much effort to be high at the first place. Then even you become a high by some accidentally or with some randomly, then if you fall down, you don't feel too much sad, because you know this is the nature of samsara, and this is the nature of being high. For eventually falling down is the nature of being high. If you know that, and if you are convinced with that, then even you become a high, you are not too much excited to be high. And then if you fall down from that highness, and you will not be too sad because of being falling down, because you know, this is the nature of samsara, and this is the nature falling down at the end is the nature of being high. So this is the purpose and the qualities of meditating on it.
Then kunke mijidorji then rangi salati shen mi sala sha then tsiki razong. Then the tsiki goju de kare dosana ta pinjere nga tisu ta takwa tamje sebarjo towa tamje lungwajo tisu la dene dang delwigi dene tsiki redo samnangarang kowa dhwaji shangam. Then kandesen resana ngarang su rangi sala desi sungwe de kare resana rangi sala degi yo mare soro gangi na yang ya tsik dotumna same. 다 딱와tam에 세발주가 디왕도 땅나 다 주노 사야기 제도라 되네 소로강 있나야 신달랭아 야드 쪽어서 신다디 소로강 있나야 마밥야기 마 충로 땅야기 삼로 땅네 되네 미살라 마샤 랑랑기살라 마데바 차기 해봐네 디인디 되네 동열당 강일 창마 되네 딜라 되네 용게요래 디 마이마 rangi salate rangi gewangame sosawe devo kare yoba mi korangi gewangame le sosawe devo kare yoba di wangde dega shana korangi salasha rangi salate na tene di 강에 동일 망보지기 디기 셀로 그래 세네 숨바는 Then dinashin Toy Talunga de la Yang, then Kanzo Rang Gisala Madeo Jin, Sorgang Inayata, Ya
당보디 랍샤네.
No.
당보디 랍샤네. So I have a quotation from omniscient Miguel Dorje, the eighth Karmapa, when he said, we should sit, or we should sit, S-I-T, or we should stay, or we should live on our own place. And then we should let others to stay or live on their own place. Miguel Dorje said like that, these two words. And then I think this is very much connected with this subject here for these 4 lines. For example, if I explain the first line, which says the permanent will exhausted or accumulation will be exhausted here. So usually we don't just stay at our own place. We try to be somewhere else. Even if you can go 1 inch higher, you try to go up. And then you don't let other people to stay where they are. You try to put them down. Even just 1 inch, you can put them down. You try your best to put them down. This is the nature of samsaric being. So that causes all the suffering for us. So if you just stay wherever you are, where you are being brought by your own previous karma. Whatever karma, the merit you have accumulated, you will have the result, no matter whether you try or not. That's what it means. Just stay where you are. We should stay on our own place, and we should let others to stay their own place. So also, we should not try to put other people down. Just let them stay where their karma brought them to. If you just let them stay on their own, and if you just stay on your own, then there will be much less problem than we usually have. So this is what I think it means when the omniscient Miki Dorje said. He said, we should stay on our own place, and we should let others to stay on their own place.
Then Delayang, then Rang Sala de mi Korang Sala Shana, then Kangel Don Tungel Mambujik. Then Chungrodon, Yungro, De Majin around to Tanda Garajagorasana, then Top Wang Tang Gone, Ganji Tony, then Sorgang in a round the out Yagi Tapshi, Shendi, Sorgang in a Ma Papiadang, Ma Neyagi Tapshi, De Jangjang, Jene, then Gonzo, De Latin, then Dungel Dang, Kangel Mangoji, take you about it. Then the Korang ge sala sha, rang ge sala dena, then Kangel la Dungel Mangboji di Kangso Meba Chas to go do it.
So again, to say again the same thing, usually we create a lot of problem by ourselves, trying to be somewhere else, not staying on our own place, and trying to put some others somewhere else, not letting them to stay where they are. And if you just stay on your own place, and if you just let others to stay on their own place, then there will be much less problem than we usually have. So now we're going to meditate on the second one, which literally says, whatever is high will eventually fall down. So you can apply your position, whatever the situation, your material wealth, whatever, and just think everything is impermanent, and then we meditate on that again for about 7 or 8 minutes. Okay, we start meditation now.
tene kunge meyi soje sungde la yang terwa tosane samlo dangna jegab tenero jegab chik la da rang sorgang ina yang ya 토로 당 체로 당 당에게 탑시 신 솔강 있나요 마 매봤어야 당마 내야 당마 강도 매봤어야기 탑시 장장 당니 되네 될라 되네 동년당 강엘 먹뭐지 중산의 삼로당나 김새 직직이 나라 되네 가지 파마직이 보고 나라양 빈비제 나라양 되네 바로 보디 김대당 바로 보디 솔강 있나야 마내야기 탑시 마빠베야기 탑시 랑데 솔강 있나야 야 토로 도야기 탑시 야 체로 도야기 탑시 된데라 땅 강조 탑시 된데라 코나라 때네 되네 동현당 강엘 체메바지 속에 디기 속에 여바려.
So the word of the omniscient Migyo Dorje, you can apply everywhere. For example, if we use a widely example, then we can think about the between country and country or nation and nation. The powerful nation always try to put the other nation down, and then they just want to go up and up. Even 1 inch they can go up, they try. And then they try to, they don't let other just stay where they are, just try to put them down. And that create problem. And that's for global thinking. If you think in a very short, then you are neighborhood, even inside one family. In neighborhood, always you try to get better than the other, your neighborhood. And then you always try to go up, even just 1 inch you try, and that create the more problem than necessary, then it has to be. Actually, from the Buddhist point of view, everyone has the karma and karmic result. So if you just stay where you are, enjoying the result that come from your wholesome action in your previous life, then there will be much less problems.
Tene di mayi bajene mi korang ge sala sha rang ge sala dena tene di kangel dang nyokta dang dungel samje tene di ge shigiri di indang di dungel dang kangel sel ko na rang ge sala de mi rang ge sala sha.
So it is very true that the omniscient Migyo Dorje said, just stay on your own place, and then let others stay on their own place. If you don't bother others, and then there will be less problem. Okay, we move to the next one because we have to also follow the time. Now the time for the third line.
Da sumba duwa yena delwa hong se. Da duwa se na nyamdo duwa, nyamdo chokba. Dene 강조 다 촉바 탐지 되네 주겐 댄들라 때네 촉바 다 두어 탐지 주겐 댄들라 때네 촉바리 디인디 되네 타마 두이 타마 대양 될와리 될야 줌생 가래래잖아 두이기 고 주겐디 세도들 되네 강조 될와 마차랑 자차고요 되네 디인디 두어당 촉바 탐지 되는 타마 델위기 주레 섬네디 다 카시양 조보당 델도게도 파마당 델도게도 지제 델도게도 세네 강연당 동엘 냥게 망보지 여바라고 다디 전타디 뭐마 디 셈나셰 좀나 되네 디 동엘당 강연 델위기 동엘당 강연디 셀도게다.
And the third line says, literally it says, if there is coming together, there will be separation. Duwa yona talwa hong. If you know the Tibetan. So this is literally what it means. Duwa yona means if there is coming together, there will be separation. So what it means is, whatever coming together will eventually separate, because this is the nature of coming together. The reason why is so is because whatever comes together is actually brought by causes and conditions, no matter what. So when these causes and conditions that brings things together is exhausted, then there will be separation of it. So if you know this nature of the separation of being separate from the coming together, then those people who feel too much pain and suffering of being separated from their friends or parents or their loved one and so forth, and you will not experience that, because you know the nature of being coming together is separation, and then there is nothing we can do. And if you are convinced with this idea of the nature of being together is separation, then you will not have to go through this pain and suffering when you are separated from your loved one. Now we do meditation on this third line, about 5 minutes again.
Tene duwa dang telwa sewa de yang ngarang zo tene chun nang ma dagwa semjin gi ngola iyo ware nang ware ma do tene dagwa yeshi gi ngola duwa dang telwa niga me bare thangba duwa me na thangma telwa ya me bare di tene den damba nyelu gi ngola duwa dang telwa niga me ba tene dudel pojor mebegi 강소 된라 tene samla thangna chamsam di dangla nyamara choktumna yobon.
So when we are talking about coming together and being separated, we are talking very much in the relative truth. This occur only for those unpure, confused beings. For those pure beings, in their wisdom, there is no coming together, and since there is not coming together, and there is no separation. So this is the ultimate nature. In ultimate nature is beyond beyond coming together and being separated. So sometime also you can think about the ultimate nature of coming together and being separate, then try to meditate on that nature. 다 가만 가스래서. 다시 바티네.
되네 다 시바되는. 깨와 연나 지워줄세. 다 깨와 가당 공도 시바는 신다. 깨와라 깨와 넘버 시 저버지요 바래. 년래 깨와 뒤대 깨와 되실래 깨와 공안래 깨와. 다 깨와 넘버 시 예네 송데 되네 강조. 타마 치위게랑 신 치월레 마데바 치월레 되네 타르야 메바 레스네 송바레 디인드 되네 강소 깨웨 타마 치와 임바 되네 디 돈다 여고지 셰토바이나 되네 강소 치월라 하장기 장낭동다 신앙도 메바 저거 차투거서 디 돈다.
The fourth line again literally says, if there is birth, it will die. So, which means being born is in the nature of being die. Therefore, now if you know this, if you are convinced with this idea, then when you are really facing the death, you won't be too much suffering. And this is the benefit of this. And again, as I said earlier, according to Buddhist tradition, there are 4 different ways of taking birth. From womb, from eggs, from heat and moisture, and one is called miraculous birth. So no matter which way you are being born, as long as you are born, you are not free from death. Eventually, the being born is actually the very start of being dead. So therefore, if you know this very well, and if you are convinced with this, then when you are really facing the real, what we call death, then you won't be suffering too much.
되네 디 주기 양 가시 지 하고 이제 말이야. 대화 전에 메타베메 나라 주디게 와도 되제 마임바 디 주기 되가 그러나 년외기 세면되서다 녀와 찬예지 장예지 세면되서 주기 저번에도 근도 다 옥체만 타고도 되네 되는 게도요.
So you might not know what miraculous birth means. Usually when we say that, we think of being born from a lotus in Sukhavadi. Of course, that is one of them. But when we are talking about samsara, mostly the beings in the hell realms are being born miraculously. They don't need parents. They just, because of their negativities, right after their death from this samsara, they will be born there miraculously. And these are what we call miraculous birth in samsara. And then I don't think the other 3 you don't understand. I think you understand the other 3. Okay, we do meditation again for 3 minutes. For this, the last because time is almost 8:50. Usually at 8:50 we start our Sagya Dharma. Today we will have 2 or 3 minutes late. Last. Okay, that's all for tonight. And now, the next, we will do the Sakyam Dharma practice. So please join us. Maya Namha Nambe Samje Tamje Lama Sangye Rinpo Shalai Gyabsan Jo Sangye Chudam Ginde Namlai Gyabsan Jo Lama Yedam Khato Solai Gyabsan Jo Rangsam Tonsai Chigye Golai Gyabsan Jo Maya Namha Nambe Samje Tamje Lama Sangye Rinpo Shalai Gyabsan Jo Sangye Chudam Ginde Namlai Gyabsan Jo Lama Yedam Khato Solai Gyabsan Jo Rangsam Tonsai Chigye Golai Gyabsan Jo Maya Namha Nambe Samje Tamje Lama Sangye Rinpo Shalai Gyabsan Jo Sangye Chudam Ginde Namlai Gyabsan Jo Lama Yedam Khato Solai Gyabsan Jo Rangsam Tonsai Chigye Golai Gyabsan Jo Man be mo 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 man be Oman be moman 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 be Oman be moman 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 Oman be moman 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 Man be moman 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 Oman be moman 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 be Oman be moman 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 be Oman be moman 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 Oman be moman 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 be Oman be moman 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 Oman be moman 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 Oman be moman 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 be Oman be moman 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 Oman be moman 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 be Oman be me wa le da lo borai ke le gyora wa yi da ne da jo yam be se wa so sem ye me de ve ne na em go jide khayam so jo ya wa ya mai gyore je ke da she me te be se ja ke je la le se de be so do ne ge do ma je ne ba ji de kham so jo wa ra ma ge je che da shin je kha na zu ba da me ye me za te be
je ba da ta be dem so ye lu je gu la ne ba ya ma ge re je ne be ge re ya to da ye jo da lo ra ye ro so ya ro jo da xie ya za ye ne la so ya ba yin lu je gu ya la se wa ra ya ma yu ra ji lu zhen de wa ya ma lu ya cho se be yong xie cho ya be do ma ya ji nie ba ma lu xie xie da ya do ya de ba ya da ce de me de ye de ba ra jo la ma gu jo son ye do je da kan do che yo so me ne do da le de lo wa ya me be de do ye mo ya ma ya la da se ya do ba ra jo la ma gu jo son ye do je da kan do che yo so me ne do da le de lo wa me be de do ye mo ya ma ya la ya da se ya do ba ra jo ya la ma gu jo son ye do je da kan do che yo so me ne do da le de lo wa me be de do ye mo ya ma ya la da se do ba yo.
The next is our regular dedication prayer and the auspicious words, or Tashi prayer.
Oi sonam de ye tem je se ba nye top de nye be da na ya pam zen ye ga na ye ba la ya ro ba ye se be so le ro wa ra jo jam ba la ba wa che tra ken ba ya da kun do zong bo te ya te shen de te da gun ge je so da lo jing ge wa te da tam je ra do mo san ge gu so nye be chen la che nye min gen de be chen la gen de me chen de be chen la che tra ngo wa ya mo la ro ba ra sho de ye le ya ya ve te le ya ba ka ma ya ba de me nyen bo sho da ra gwen cha jin ne gun me che da ba ra pel be ra ye jo.
Khenpo lan tak lama zaba 900 oh, it's gone. You didn't see it. I'm just teasing.